Serilda. Yeah, you're already laughing because the kickoffs to these are always a little serious, but tell the audience the company that you started.
My company is Workplace Change. It's a human resources firm headquartered in the Pacific Northwest.
Nice.
But we serve the nation.
Yeah. So you and I met and became fast friends 11 years ago. You were working for the city.
The state.
The state of Oregon.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
You remember when you made the closet for me? I was helping with some HR stuff.
Yeah.
And you cleared out a closet because I was traveling back and forth from Salem to Portland.
That's right.
Yeah.
So and you actually were instrumental in the early days of hosting with Sue Embree, facilitating some groups to help really the vision of the script. And what's your take on like what we kind of learned from those groups of underrepresented entrepreneurs that we had like 4 sessions in 2015?
We did. With some of the most powerful minority leaders in the region. And if you recall, one of the things we focused on in those initial conversations was we've got programs that help young professionals.
Yep.
And there are fewer programs for kind of that middle rung of professionalism. And then there's a huge opportunity for people of color to get access to the highest ranks of opportunity. What is that gap? Like, how do we fill that gap? What needs to happen systemically? That was really the essence of those conversations. And people shared so much vulnerability about their own evolution in their careers, particularly here in the Pacific Northwest. So it was really cool conversations.
And the cool thing is that you have become kind of like an embodiment of this whole thing, because when we first met, you were an employee.
Yes.
And then I think Thesis and I was your first like small business client.
Formerly known as Eroy.
Yes.
You were my first ever client.
Yes.
I think my billable rate then was $50 an hour.
Yeah, around there.
I had no idea like what the charge rate was, but I knew I was good at HR and you needed some support.
Yeah.
And it was super cool. Like you gave me my first introduction into even being in an entrepreneurial environment, right? I had kombucha on tap. There was like dog politics that required some policies, people stealing dog snacks.
That was ridiculous.
Remember that?
A dog peed in a woman's purse.
Peed in her purse?
And the dog owner never apologized.
Ever.
And this was like code red.
It was.
Yeah, bring in Serilda. This is like the hardest problem to deal with. Yeah.
It was hilarious. But coming from big healthcare, because I was at Kaiser before going to the state, and then working at the state, I felt a sense of freedom of just like, just thinking outside the box. Like you and I would go in a room and just think of something and then we could just do it.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do I make that my life forever?
And then I introduced you to many dozen entrepreneur friends, and many of those became clients. But that's kind of the origin story. But man, Workplace Change, you're on like the side of buses now. You're any business event I go to, you're either moderating, you're on a panel, you're speaking, and you're very good, by the way. And so how has it evolved?
I mean, so Workplace Change evolved from a concept of I sold you something. Like I sold you HR. I never knew that you could sell HR outside of being in a big company. Like you HR is an internal function. But I sold it to you and you bought it and you liked it. And then you introduced me to other folks who I then met with and pitched them and they bought it. And I was like, this is before like I even had a LLC or anything like that. Like this, I was just doing what I loved.
Serilda Inc.
Serilda Inc. And so the origin story was like, okay, this is dope. This is crazy fun. I feel a freedom I've never felt working in these big corporations. How do I stand out? How do I tell people that that my services are for sale? And that's how I wrote the book. You read different installations of it. Mm-hmm. And then I published it. I did my book opening, which was also the launch of my company at Eroy. You hosted me, which was so generous. It was incredibly generous. And then And then I was off to the races from there. Like I really just put myself out there, going to different events and speaking. So speaking became the resource, the vehicle for people knowing that I had something to say. It was different from what other folks were saying, and that it was for sale.
And you have a gift as a speaker. Like I think you probably get a lot of business through it because people can see you're super sharp and you know what you're talking about, and you've got hustle. Like you've grown your business significantly because you know how to network. More than networking, like you know how to be an authoritative thought leader. And yeah, how big is your business now?
Well, my business, what do you want to talk about?
Oh,
what part of it? Like how many clients?
Whatever you want
me to say
yeah.
How deep we going, Ryan?
Yeah, share your vision, your dream.
So last year we worked with 128 companies across the nation, which is a big deal. And I've got 10 full-time staff and about 15 contractors that we use in a variety of ways. Q1 of 2025 was almost 3 times the revenue of Q1 of 2020. Q1 of 2026 was almost 3 times the revenue of 2025. So to say that we are relevant, I think is kind of an understatement at this point in time. And from my perspective, the only thing I'm thinking about is how do I scale? Because a lot of people still buy me. So how do I leverage my expertise, but also help people see that I've got an entire team that have been trained by and are prepared to continue to move forward the things that I'm really, really good at and they know me for. So that's kind of what where my biggest challenge is and opportunity. And my goal is to have a $50 million company, then move to a $150 million company to a $500 million company. Like once you make your first $1 million, right? A girl from low income is probably an understatement, of Michigan, you make $1 million and you're like, oh snap. I just made $1 million.
But you have discipline around it. You're in, so Script Founders is all about building wealth, generational wealth, all that. And I know you got a nice purse over there, and I don't even know fashion, but you don't have that much bling.
I don't.
But you're investing in real estate and other things. So that is interesting that like your background, a lot of folks from your background in terms of like, the hustle you were doing in your teens and and then into college and maybe it was just I don't know.
It was all of it.
It was all of it. How you must be really driven to like build wealth and do things differently because the role models you had would have spent a lot of that first $1 million by now. Yeah.
Well, so I did a few different things. Number one, I'm just now starting to understand wealth management, right? For me, it was about a lack of debt, right? So my upbringing is I watch people lose their homes that they lived in for 30 years because something went left, or get their cars repoed, or things of that nature. So I wasn't thinking about how to manage debt to my benefit or things of that nature. It was like pay my house off, right? Cash. But then my financial advisor would be like, you can put that in the market and you could have made an additional $75,000 on those, right? Yeah. So there has been some paradigm shifts that I've had to work through, but my first step was no debt. So I have no debt in my life whatsoever. I own the Workplace Change building. It's debt-free. Our homes are debt-free. We don't owe any car notes or things of that nature. That's how I live my life, is if I cannot pay cash, historically, if I cannot pay cash, it's not for me. So I amass the cash and then it's like, give me that. So I have had to shift into investing, which is really cool, right? It's actually super dope. Yeah. But it was make money while you sleep. What? Yeah. A girl from Taco Bell never thought of money in that way, right? But no, now that's a massive part of my portfolio. Is like how do I take the money, the profits, and move it in a manner that will actually create generational wealth, not just make sure that my family dynamic is solid and I can pay for tuition or whatever the case is. It's beyond that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's rare, and hopefully you're learning some few new, what do you call them, cheat codes?
I'm telling you, I'm all about the cheat code. It's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many of those kinds of things.
And when you bought your building, you could accelerate the depreciation.
The depreciation
Saves a ton on taxes.
Immediately. And then everything that you put in the building is a write-off.
Yeah.
This couch, this beautiful couch here, write it off. So there's just so many little gamification elements of owning your own business where I'm just like, what?
Yeah, I love it. It's so cool. Yeah, tell us like your vision. I guess I just saw the time and we're like, it's just flowing right now, but why don't we kind of wrap
Close
it up.
us out, Ray.
Well,
Ryan.
I just, like you said something in coffee right before this that had me cracking up. You said, well, I'm almost 50, I gotta change this. And I'm like, you're 43, I'm 51. You can't say you're almost 50. But okay, so what do you wanna be when you're 50? What do you wanna be when you grow up?
Oh man, that's a difficult question. I feel like you should have given that to me in advance so I could be prepared.
Okay. Well, but you've got goals, 5-year goal. Like, what's your 5-year goal?
My 5-year goal is for Workplace Change to have a regional president outside of just the Portland metro area. So we will have a president for this region in 2027, and then my goal is to open up a location for more regions, and those things will happen likely 2028. I live my life 1/4 mile at a time, sir. I can't give you my 50.
And your dream for your kids. You got 2 kids.
Somebody better come back to Workplace Change. Like somebody needs to come back to Workplace Change is what I'm hoping for.
Succession planning right there. Okay.
Jeez
like
Louise.
It. Yeah.
But ultimately, my son is 16. Shout out to Salt and Straw. He got his first job, and I did not call.
Thank you, Kim.
I didn't call Kim. He applied. He got an interview. He nailed it, and now he works at the waterfront in the Vancouver Salt and Straw. So, and he's got a car. So he's stepping into being a value-adding member of the community, right? Not just the person who is asking me for Apple Pays all the time, but a person who can actually contribute meaningfully to the enterprise, the McGee enterprise. And so I'm excited for what that yields, but I'm also excited for somebody coming back. Like somebody's got to come back in here.
I love it. Well, thanks, Serilda. It's so great to chop it up with you.
Right on.
Cheers.
Good to see you.